Alright, hello everyone. This is Crota giving you game 2 in the series, an undead versus undead mirror match here on Turtle Rock. Alright, Th000 is going to be spawning as the light blue or teal undead. Meanwhile, TiuJQY is going to be spawning as the purple one. A little bit confusing here on the colors. Not quite sure why Th000 changed his race, but this is going to be interesting. Undead versus undead on Turtle Rock. And really, this is just a creeping person's dream now that it is full cross spawns. I'm expecting a little bit of a longer game, somewhere in like the 20-plus range, 20-minute plus range, as players will be able to sweep out across the map, find their opponents, find creep camps, and just really level up. Now, Th000 has been known to change up his races and play in very distinguished styles, so this does not come as a surprise to me. But what does come as a surprise, though, is that he easily handled his opponent as a human player. So why change the race? I'm not sure. If I was an actual professional Warcraft 3 caster and was on site, I would ask him why. Or I don't know. Dingai. 没有关系了。好. Okay, yes, a little bit of my Chinese rant there, as we are going to be going into a Lich versus, is it going to be another Lich? No, a Death Knight. Lich first does make sense when you are going up against another undead player. The Death Knight cannot nuke your opponent, so that is actually one of the major advantages that the Death Knight has. Also, he cannot nuke his opponent's units, so all that Death Knight ends up becoming is a paladin with a missile heal that costs 10 additional mana. That is not very useful at all, and it's going to come down to whether or not the undead player, the purple undead player, is able to respond fast enough. Alright, here comes an Acolyte. The Acolyte is going to perhaps spot his opponent and the Blight here in just a second. As the Ghouls are already coming in here, you can see that the Ghouls, they are slow. They had a little bit of a slower attack speed. Down goes the the giant sea turtle right there. Down goes the hatchlings. The Lich is going to most likely benefit from those Gauntlets of Ogre Strength, since he is a rather fragile hero early on. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is going to finish off this Sea Turtle Hatchling creep camp as well. Meanwhile, the Lich coming off over here, and this is where the Lich will start to shine. At level 2, once he gets Dark Ritual, the Rods of Necromancy and the Skeletal Minions essentially start becoming a bit of a mana battery for that Lich. We may see that here in just a moment. I'm not quite certain yet. Yes, that Lich is going to back off. There is that Dark Ritual right there, regenerating a bit of mana. Already back up to 300 mana and growing, as we're going to see the Lich perhaps get off of Frost Nova somewhere. No, the Ghouls are now heading back. And where are the Ghouls going? Normally, you would have to be worried, but not this time, since the Death Knight cannot launch any Death Coils to actually deal damage to these units. Alright, there are a whole bunch of skeletal minions here, and they are engaging. However, the Necropolis is doing the Nerubian Tower is doing a little bit of cold damage there, and you can see that some of those units are getting taken down. Meanwhile, the Lich on the far side should be going after the giant Sea Turtle creep camp. Yes, he is. The Acolytes are doing a bit of repairing, and the Ghouls are doing a good job actually trapping some of those skeletal minions right there. That Lich is going to get very close to level 3. Another Dark Ritual could be coming in. Yes, already up to almost 300 mana again with a Mantle of Intelligence. That is a very strong Lich already, as the Lich going to be going to every which corner of the map. The Death Knight looking to see where his opponent has started creeping and hasn't really caught on to it yet. Are we going to see another skeletal minion charge come in? Yes, we are. And what is going to be happening here? We could see another Dark Ritual come in as well, as the Lich is now charging his way inside his opponent's base. Alright, there is the cold attack now. Halls of the Dead. What is that Lich going to be trying to do? The Lich is going after some of those units there. There's a Death Coil saving that lower hit point Ghoul, as the Lich now tries to get away, and it will be able to back off just in time. Meanwhile, you can see that this one poor Ghoul is stuck behind enemy lines trying to go after all of these units here. The teal versus the purple, both sides fighting at it. One Acolyte does get stuck, and so far Th000 is still just charging in here, getting in a good amount of damage, finishing off some of these units, as the Lich is still coming across here, and it is now going to perhaps go after a very difficult creep camp Is he going after? Yes, he's going after a Gargantuan Sea Turtle right now. This is actually rather unheard of. Sitting on a level 3 Lich, just now getting to level 3, and you can see that there is a low hit point Ghoul who perhaps needs to head back home. We may even see Cannibalize be added momentarily in order to heal back up all of those units. All right, this low hit point Ghoul down to 87 hit points is going to fall back as well. Lich is sitting at level 3. This low hit point Ghoul, there's the Frost Nova, Tome of Intelligence, picks up another item, and oh, is the Death Knight going to get that Ghoul? I believe so. Yes, there it is. Now finally getting to level 2. Lich does have a potion of healing. Where is he going to be going? Is he going to pick up Boots of Speed or Staff of Teleportation? Yes, both, in fact. And he drops the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength. Oh, this could be extremely bad. The Lich is down to 135 hit points. But without having to really worry about the Death Knight's Death Coil, and also with those Boots of Speed, he's actually outrunning that one particular Death Knight. On the move out across the field. He's going to get back home in just a moment. What is that Lich doing? He is now backing around the far side and not quite sure why he's going off to the north here. This does not make any sense whatsoever. The Lich is just wandering around the map. He may actually run into his opponent's units, and that would be an absolute nightmare. The Death Knight already getting that Lich down to 75, 77 hit points, but the Lich, what is he doing now? He is standing still and able to teleport back home. Wow, that was a very gutsy move, I must add. And now sits back at home, upgrading to Black Citadel. All right, Rod of Necromancy has come into play. I believe a Dark Ritual was used there as well. Death Knight still wandering around looking for that Lich. That Lich sitting at 105 mana. Very, just very strong at this point. And being able to get some shots off there. That Death Knight, the main problem is that Th000 has no idea where the rest of the undead army, his opponent's undead army, is. He cannot really commit to any fight there. He just has to kind of read off of what his opponent is doing instead, as the Lich gonna go after this here. All right, let's see what's gonna be happening. Are we gonna see him pick up that item? Yes, he does. Gloves of Haste. There is the attack back. Potion of Healing quickly used. That Lich back up pretty much to full strength. And that's one way to really waste the Death Knight's time, as that Death Knight was chasing after that Lich for quite a while. All right, Gloves of Haste back onto that Lich as well. There's a Crypt Fiend right off over here, as we are going to see a Gargantuan Sea... Nope. Not going to see that Gargantuan Sea Turtle creep camp crept out. So far, that Lich sitting at level 3, going after this Goblin Merchant Shop. He should be fine here. Lich is going to get to level 4. Skeletal Minion will get taken down, and he's going to sell the, yes, selling the Gloves of Haste once more. And I believe that once we see the tech to Black Citadel, we may not even see a Rod of Necromancy any longer onto that Lich, or at least selling the Staff of Teleportation, as that is not the better item. He really wants to perhaps see or get some additional items elsewhere. All right, let's see. Skeletal Minion gets taken down. Lich is still doing a bit of damage. There is a Death Coil onto that Lich. I think the Lich actually gave the Pure-Up of Vitality to the Death Knight. The Death Coil went off and then transferred back over. That was a very smart move there, getting a little bit of extra hit points onto that Lich right there. Already back up to 540, as we are seeing a Potion of Greater Healing now. Most likely, is it going to stay on that Death Knight? Yes, because the Death Knight is going to be healing that Lich throughout this game. All right, here you go. Death Knight Lich versus Lich Death Knight. Level 4 on the Lich, and there's the engagement. Death Knight only sitting at level 2 as the damage is coming in. The Death Knight needs to back off here. We can see a Dark Ranger now coming in now as well. And that Dark Ranger could get in some easy damage here. There's a Frost Nova stealing a bit of experience, but the Gargantuan Sea Turtle is still in play. All right, let's see. The Lich is in play. Dark Ranger. So it is Lich, Death Knight, Dark Ranger versus Death Knight, Dark Ranger, Lich. Or not, well, you know what I mean. As the fighting is still going back and forth. Death Knight still sitting at level 2, though. So the Dark Ranger is still coming in. Oh, we could have a huge Frost Nova come in there, as the units are taking a lot of damage. Once again, that Lich has plenty of mana and still going after some of those units as well. The Death Knight now going to get to level 2. Unholy Aura has been teched. And this is the scary part, is that the second hero, the second Death Knight, is actually the same level as the primary Death Knight. So it is a 2-2-1 versus a 4-2-1 right now. That is huge. as we're looking at that Lich perhaps still doing a little bit of baiting here. All right, there's the engagement. There is that one very low hit point Dark Ranger, or will be low hit point Dark Ranger if she's not careful, trying to run back. All right, the giant sea turtles now engaging here. We could see them try and engage back again. And an army is splitting these two units as ghouls are now making their way out in addition to an obsidian statue. All right. This giant sea turtle is right off over there. There we are going to see a bit of an engagement. And there's the obsidian statue as well. There's a frost nova hitting off a lot of those units there. There goes some of Th000's own ghouls, as there is also a silence. Silence really disrupting everything as we see another Lich frost nova hitting that Crypt Fiend, taking it down. So far, we are continuing this push. A-bombs, abominations now coming in as well. We are continuing this fight. You can see also the Destroyer now making its way over, as this one poor Crypt Fiend gets a Frost Nova and a Death Coil all at the same time. Still able to stay alive ever so barely, as it looks as it will finally get taken out here. Lich sitting at level 4, going after the Gargantuan Sea Turtle. The Gargantuan Sea Turtle may get Death Coiled. Oh, does not get Death Coiled. The item was picked up, Potion of Greater Mana, and that Potion of Greater Mana should perhaps just stay on that Death Knight to heal up more of those units. Staff of Teleportation, that Lich is going to be heading all the way back home, and that Lich now finally picking up an Orb of Corruption of his own, should be able to engage momentarily. Abomination, very, very strong. No Disease Cloud, as undead units are immune to it. Acolyte still wandering around here. Lich now quickly engaging against the Ogre Warrior here as well, as we're going to be seeing a bit of an engagement. There goes one unit, and the Lich now needs to be at a little bit of the front, as the Death Knight has no way of really staying alive. All right, this could be bad, though. We are now seeing an engagement from the backside. There's the Death Coil saving a unit, as the Robe of Magi being picked up by the Death Knight. All right, the Dark Ranger is in a bit of trouble. Is it going to get saved? Yes, it will. And what is happening next? All these units are just simply running back again, as the Lich still sitting at 4. Still trying to figure out something next. All right, here we go. A little bit of damage onto that obsidian statue. That obsidian statue taking a lot of damage for just simply walking around the far side, going in the wrong direction. Same thing happened to one of Th000's own obsidian statues, as both sides taking damage, as they were not, or they were both caught in transit. There goes a Crypt Fiend. All right, poor Destroyer currently webbed. Dark Ranger is silenced onto the Death Knight. Death Knight unable to heal his own friendly units, as we are still fighting back and forth. There is, I believe, a Dark Ritual, so that Lich now has some mana. Is that another Dark Ritual? So both sides just sacrificing their own units for more and more mana, as a second Obsidian statue now joining in. That Lich sitting at level 4, gonna come back over, perhaps get another Frost Nova on some of these units, but all of the units now very high on hit points, 550. Skeletal Minion, Destroyer, or Devour Magic taking down that minion there, and also regenerating some hit points and also getting a bit of mana. So far, the Lich wants to get to level 5. It's going to be going after another red creep camp here. The Death Knight may get to level 3 here, as the Death Knight is right in front. What is going on? And Th000 is taking a play out of this playbook to just creep every which corner of the map while he can. And that Death Knight, remembering his paladin days, getting a devotion aura as he now makes his way off over here. So far, that Crypt Fiend now trying to back off. You can see the Abomination and the Death Knight now making its way off to the north as well. So far, a handful of units here just making their rounds, and it looks like the Lich may get to level 5 if it tries to creep out this orange creep camp. Yes, it is going to go after this orange creep camp. Double obsidian statues, and that Lich with 600 mana plus 14 attack, Robe of Magi, Mantle of Intelligence, very strong there. 600 mana is nearly unheard of. That 600 mana is going to equal a lot of Frost Novas, and level 3 Frost Novas at that, with a Tome of Intelligence as well. Pendant of Energy onto the Death Knight, as that Lich really doesn't need that much more. Oh, this is going to be an absolute massacre now. Here you go. That Lich going to just slip on back inside here. Going to Frost Nova an unsuspecting, or, well, that guy has to know what's coming. All right, what is he going to do? Oh, he's going to Frost Nova a ghoul, takes one ghoul down, now tries to hide back over here. He's just going to make his way all the way to the far back and go after perhaps some of these acolytes. Yeah, there goes a ghoul. going after another ghoul. Now these ghouls, or not ghouls, those acolytes just falling very quickly. Could perhaps be going after another acolyte. Staff of Teleportation, is it going to rejoin? Yes, rejoining on the fight here as the Lich needs to back off. It does not want to steal any of this experience. Backs off here. The Death Knight sitting at level 3. The Dark Ranger may get to level 3 after this. Death Knight sitting at level 3. Dark Ranger may get to level 3 as this creep camp does get cleared out. Haunting of a gold mine. And Th000 is just making this look oh so easily as he also has Immolation Aura on this Death Knight. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the items. The Death Knight here has a Potion of Greater Healing and a Scroll of Healing, Orb of Corruption, and then a whole bunch of claws, plus 23 attack on that Lich. That Lich is going to be extremely deadly, even when going up against compared to level or plus 14 attack. I cannot believe the numbers I'm seeing on that Lich. That Lich is going to deal so much damage, somehow turning that intelligence-based hero, both of them, into an auto-attacking damage machine, equivalent to an agility hero. All right, Obsidian Statue now pulling back here. The Death Knight still coming in here as well. The Death Knight coming back around level 3, level 4. It looks as though the Undead army is not that good of a position. There's a Frost Nova, not really doing all that much though, as the Lich sitting at 320 mana is going to be looking still pretty strong as it is flying or floating back and forth likewise. All right, here, are we going to see an engagement? The Dark Ranger now going to try and engage there. There is a little bit of an attack as down goes one Obsidian Statue. Very easy for those destroyers to just focus it down as all the units are in full retreat. All right, Th000 is in a bit of trouble here, but the expansion is looking strong. And if that expansion can get up, he is going to have a huge army advantage eventually. 55 over 60 compared to 70 over 70. A huge army advantage by the purple undead as the Death Knight needs to get off a Death Coil perhaps onto that Lich. There you go. Where is that fight now coming to next? All right, here we go. We should be seeing an engagement. There's a huge Frost Nova. Scroll of Healing quickly counteract. Death Coil a day late and $1 short there as we see both sides going after and focusing down those Crypt Fiends rather fast. You can see both sides' Crypt Fiends are now taken down as well as the Dark Ranger of the purple army has been taken out. Death Knight, both sides, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability now coming to an end here. That Lich needs to back off. Are we going to see more attacks coming in? You can see that the damage is still starting to rack up very heavily. Both sides are trying to take down their opponent's units. And focus firing is extremely difficult at this point as all those units are just stacked up on top of each other. And the colors are just so close. Light blue versus purple. Sometimes difficult to figure out whose is whose, especially on these destroyers. All right, level 4 now onto the Lich. The Death Knight sitting at level 4 here. The Lich, Dark Ranger. So it is 3 heroes versus 2. But the army of purple is just that much stronger as another round of Frost Novas come in. Death Coil now saving the Lich once again. There goes the Tomb of Relics as we are still looking at a bit of an engagement here. All right, the Destroy... Oh, wait. That Abomination could get taken down there. Yes, taken down very easily. The Death Knight sitting at level 4, very low on hit points. Could use a Potion of Healing. Death Coil onto the Lich. Is it going to save it in time? Yes, it does. As the Destroyers are still trying to engage. There is now a Scroll of Town Portal trying to pull back. It looks as though... Oh, wow. That Death Knight just dodges a bit of a bullet there. You can see that the Slaughterhouse is still cranking out abominations. Needs also another Obsidian Statue. Needs to get the Tomb of Relics up. But this expansion is up for Th000. And this is going to change things dramatically. Death Knight sitting at level 4. Dark Ranger is here. Lich still engaging in this fight. Death Knight just wants to be in the back to get a little bit of the experience. The Lich shouldn't even be here, but without it, this creep camp would not be possible. Would be extremely difficult to clear. And what are we having next? This Death Knight needs to regenerate hit points, and a lot of it. We are not getting an Obsidian Statue for some odd, strange reason. Not quite sure why either, as we now see the expansion down over here has been found. All right, more Acolytes being trained. Ziggurat has been taken down here. Death Knight sitting at level 4. Lich sitting at level 4. Dark Ranger is coming in at level 3. As we are now going... What? Are those Crypt Fiends actually stuck, or are they forgotten? That is a huge amount of units to be forgotten back at home. 6 supply. And 6 supply doesn't sound like much, but That's about 15% of your overall army. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this back here. That Lich taking a lot of damage. So far, more and more gold is still being harvested. There is the engagement. There is a ensnare or a web taking down one of those destroyers. So far, Th000 has to be extremely careful, though, as this one destroyer suffering a lot of damage and will finally get taken down. All right, expansion looks like it's going to be going. There's a huge Frost Nova. Death Knight now trying to engage. Another, Frost Nova silence as the Lich, very low on hit points, gets saved. Th000 able to save that Lich from far away again. And what's going on? The Lich, oh my goodness, saved again at the last possible moment. Down to 347 hit points, and this Lich is just constantly dodging bullets, constantly getting healed back up. And now what is going to be happening next as this Lich down to 241 hit points? Is it going to survive? Both sides fighting. Th000's Lich now pretty much back up to full and takes down his opponent's Lich without a problem. Level 4 Lich has fallen, and I cannot believe the micro intensity in this battle. That Lich looked like it was going to fall 3-4 times, only to get healed up at the last possible moment. All right, Th000 is going to be losing some abominations as the army of the purple undead is still stronger. The problem is that it is currently down a hero as the purple is still trying to back off here. Death Knight comes in with the death coil. I believe he meant that for the abomination, but ends up accidentally healing the Crypt Fiend there. That abomination is going to get taken out very easily, but the Lich decides to just Dark Ritual it instead in order to prevent a bit of experience. Lich now sitting at level 5. We are now going to see another engagement here. And so far, both sides are still continuing this fight here. Dark Ranger going after the Obsidian statue. And there is a couple of quick webs. Those destroyers not going to be able to move out very easily at all. Death Knight onto the death coil. Death Knight death coil onto the abomination. We are still both sides fighting as Th000 is still engaging with those destroyers to try and take down more units. It looks as though one very low hit point destroyer could be getting away. Yes, down to 21 hit points there. And what is going on? This is just absolutely crazy. Another destroyer, another destroyer going to fall. Death Knight now sitting at level 5, 600 hit point death coils. And with that 600 hit point death coils, the Lich now at 825 hit points is probably not going to fall. Now, Death and Decay may be in the books for that Lich. Lich is extremely strong. Can easily take down a base with Death and Decay, dealing so much damage. A tight collection of buildings right here could be the end of it as well. And also, now that the purple undead player is out of gold, what you see is what you get. He is now unsummoning buildings, most likely. Yes, unsummoning buildings in order to get more gold as a Crypt Fiend does get taken out. This Lich is going to pop out just in time to maybe get taken out here. You can see, no, it is not going to get focused down at all. That Lich with plus 23 attack about to engage here, and what are we going to be seeing next? All right, there is a huge Frost Nova. Level 6 now on the Lich. Dark Ritual coming in. Both sides fighting their way through. You can see the Abomination taking a bit of damage. A 57 hit point destroyer not getting taken out. That's always rather painful to watch as we are still fighting things out here. The destroyer very low on hit points, down to 165. Is it going to get focused down by the Lich? There's another, I believe, Dark Ritual coming in there as the Death Knight now sitting at level 5. Level 6 versus level 5. Both sides engaging. And so far, we are still fighting this out here. Death Coil onto a destroyer. Heals it up, but only momentarily as it looks like it's going to get taken down. Lich is now still sitting at level 6. And I believe that's going to be the GG as Th000 should be able to easily finish things up here. Yes, that is it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.